I'm so happy for you.
It looks like we did it.
What I want you to feel good about is don't let that jersey out of your sight. I had a few stolen over the years.
I ain't letting that happen.
So keep track of that.
Let's go.
The Super Bowl 59 LFG Player of the Game. Someone we're quite familiar with at this point, Jalen Hurts. Great performance by you. How did you manage to have your best game possibly in your career in one of the biggest moments of your career?
Well, I give all glory to God, first and foremost. He's greater than all the highs and the lows. And I just think, man, all the hard work, all the effort, all the determination over the years, and then carrying that over to this team, carrying it over to Philadelphia, and being able to build something very special over my tenure here and coach's tenure here as well. And so it all goes back to the work, you know, and it's a team effort. You know, I was telling Mr. Lurie, you know, defense wins championships, and that defense played their ass off today, and it showed.
It's amazing, and you did it all game long right from the beginning. Did you ever imagine that you could dominate the Chiefs the way that you guys did today?
Well, I think it was a matter of taking it a play at a time. You know, the whole thing was focusing, you know, blocking out the noise and ignoring the wind and staying true to what the main thing was. And so earlier in the year, we set out to do this, and this was the ultimate mission. And it looks like we did it. You know, I'm still processing it.
I know.
We worked so hard for something, and it comes, and just really want to soak it in.
It's going to take a while to process it. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning, and you're going to feel so good. What I want you to feel good about is don't let that jersey out of your sight. I had a few stolen over the years.
I ain't letting that happen.
So keep track of that. It's going to be memorable down the road. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations to you and your team. You guys played so well all season long, and there couldn't be a better Super Bowl champion than the Philadelphia Eagles, and you led them to victory. Congrats, my friend.
Much love, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Every game that I broadcast, I award the LFG Player of the Game to that one player who makes me say, let's go.
I look forward to seeing that in 2025, and I'll be watching from afar and still rooting.
You already said it. You just brought it up because now we got to wrap up the show, and this is our final show with you, so we can't have a final show without our full squad here. Shregs, get on up here. As we say goodbye to Michael Vick.
Coach Vick.
Mike, I got to tell you, since I've been up here with you the longest, I adore you. You are a class act. I love you as a person. I know I speak for all of us. I'm going to get emotional about it because you're such a good man. You are. I'm really proud of the journey that you're on. We can't wait to see what you do in your next chapter. Our loss is their gain, and we're really, really excited for you.
I love you so much. I love you, Peter. Charles, I love you. Jules, I love you, man. Like I say, I'll be watching y'all from afar. I'm always going to be a teammate, always and forever. And you know what? Our paths will cross again.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to stand up, give a little group hug here. And with that, on behalf of everybody at Fox Sports, thank you guys for watching all year long. You guys are awesome. Enjoy your night. And Mike. Goodbye, everybody. That's it from New Orleans. We will see you next year.
This time, you talked about it was just like every other week they were trying to fire this guy, right? 2 years ago, he goes to the Super Bowl. They start 2-2 this year. They're talking about at the bye, he might get fired. I'm like, this guy's been to the playoffs every single year. You know how many teams would pray to get a coach that takes them to the playoffs every single year? And then we talked about this on the pregame show, the personalities on this team. For him to be the CEO, to keep everybody together. We saw A.J. Brown kind of have a tiff with Jalen Hurts on the sideline. Well, in that next game, A.J. Brown goes for nearly 100 yards, and Jalen Hurts throws for nearly almost 300 yards versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. For him to keep this group together with all the personalities, Jalen Carter, right? Jalen Hurts, who wants the ball, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown. It takes a special head coach to keep all those personalities together for a common goal. And Nick Sirianni proved that he's a really good coach.
It shows you that there's no one way to find a head coach. And everyone coaches differently. And this is his way. It works for that team. Will it work for all 32? Who knows? All the other 31? Who knows? But for Philly, they got the right guy. He was able to strike the right chords and get this team playing on one accord, going in the right direction. So, yes, he's an outstanding head coach.
He's the happiest person in that locker room because if he loses this game, how do you keep a locker room when you lose 2 Super Bowls in 3 years? So now he doesn't have to worry about any of that. Now he's worrying about where he's eating dinner, what time the parade is, and this is the kind of conversation Nick Sirianni wouldn't let himself have until right now. And so for him, there's less worries, more joy, and now more buy-in next year without having to do anything because you're going to be talking about when you're getting your rings.
You know, we had 2 weeks to do it as we're trying to design game scripts that we see victorious on both sides. And it was hard to look at an Eagles game script that didn't have Saquon Barkley totaling something in the triple digits. Finishes with 57 rushing yards and plenty of that coming sort of amassed. I won't call it garbage time, but overtime. It wasn't what they leaned into and still so dominant. How were they able to remain so multiple, Emery, in your eyes offensively?
Because he's such a dynamic player that you had to account for him as a receiver, which he has some success catching the football, but also his pass pro was where it needed to be. He picked up a couple of key blitzes as well. So he was knocking on the door on all 3 facets in terms of being a complete back in this ball game. And we saw him start to rip off those bigger runs in the second half because he was able to get those 2 or 3 yard gainers in the first half. But I love the fact that they stayed with the rush attempts. The yards weren't there, but they came in the second half, but he was finding success in other ways.
And he attacked the line of scrimmage with physicality every single rep. Sometimes when a running back doesn't get going, they start slowing down, they start moving their shoulders, trying to look for a hole. Not Saquon tonight. He was firing at that line of scrimmage. Even when he wasn't getting the ball in motion, he was moving like he was going to get the ball. That takes the eyes of the defense. He impacted the game in a huge way.
Well, they were able to stay balanced because of what we talked about in pregame. And I said that Steve Spagnuolo is going to take away what you want to do well. And Drew Tranquil had a heck of a game for the Kansas City Chiefs. He single-handedly was trying to mitigate what Saquon Barkley was going to do. But you got to give a shout-out to the offensive line because we were talking about this upstairs. There were times where Jalen Hurts was back there patting the ball 5, 6 seconds, and was able to throw the ball down the field. And then to Jalen Hurts, to give him credit, there was times when he saw the blitz was coming and knew exactly where to go with the football because Steve Spagnuolo is going to try to speed up your clock every single time. And that's why I think this was a big mental hurdle for Jalen Hurts, and he passed with flying colors, more specifically in that second quarter and in the third quarter. That pass to Devontae Smith was against pressure, right? The pass to A.J. Brown, the offensive line did a really good job picking up the pressure, which allowed him to win on that drag route to score that touchdown. So they were able to be balanced on offense because of the offensive line play and protection, but then also Jalen Hurts knowing exactly where to go with the football.
Gotta say, hard to lose when you're playing with this crew, fellas. Fantastic work throughout the night and throughout the season. We are just scratching the surface, just getting started here on CBS Sports HQ. Straight ahead, more coming from Super Bowl City. We'll take you out to New Orleans. We got sights, we've got sounds, we've got it all coming up as we take a look at the Eagles in Super Bowls. They capture a second, a win and an atonement for past sin. They take down the Chiefs in a lopsided Super Bowl win. In studio with the fellas, we highlight some of the performances beneath the surface that went a long way in bringing the Eagles Super Bowl 59. Lige, who's your unsung hero?
Going with Josh Sweat. 2.5 sacks, was dominant, more specifically in the first half. He gave Joe Thuney nightmares. Josh Sweat is known as a chop club guy, but it was his speed to power. He literally was putting him in the lap of Patrick Mahomes. Matter of fact, Zach Bond's interception was a direct result of what Josh Sweat did to Thuney. Patrick Mahomes couldn't step into the throw, short-armed it. Zach Bond got an interception. My unsung hero, Josh Sweat.